And we conduct a threat matrix assessment. So we've made this one a little bit more kind of juicy just for show, because a lot of the time, as I said, you know, most players, there isn't too much in that's going to come across as a potential risk, some more than others. So those boxes up the top there, those 6 boxes would generally be, you know, would be green. Just because there's a red in there doesn't mean don't sign the player. What it is just like we think there's a high risk there around something that you need to be aware of and you need to manage. So, for example, the high risk on this one, the player comes from Nurem in East London. For those you know it, Nurem was where the Olympics took place and where West Ham Stadium is. But it's an area that has habitually been an area that's suffered with sort of poverty issues and high crime rates in recent times. Very prolific for gangs and gang shootings. So, you know, we do identify that this player lives in that area. He's got a connection that's affiliated to a London crime gang. So obviously there's a jeopardy of risk there when he goes back into London. You know, is something going to happen to him? He's also got his own business, which is a positive aspect in some clubs. For some clubs, interesting. I did one of Hugo's modules not so long ago, and there was a video on there. Hugo, remember, about Hector Bellerin, I think, talking about his business, outside businesses that he has away from football, and you know, talking about, well, why shouldn't I have that? That, you know, it's positive. It gives me something to focus on. It's all again it can be very subjective. I've been into other football clubs where CEOs or heads of recruitment have been very kind of negative around that because they see it as a distraction. And we had one CEO described it as I don't really want players with side hustles because I'm not convinced they're going to be focused on their football careers. But again, that's all that kind of information we can find out, and then we can put it over to a club, and you make your decisions based on the intelligence that you get. We look at social media. Now it's interesting to, you know, social media. I'm sure I'm bound to get a question about this, but what's out there? What can you access on social media? Some accounts are private. Instagram is a little bit easier to kind of follow, as is Twitter. Can we do stuff around social media? We don't do anything that's illegal. I just make sure I put that out there, but we can do. There are processes and tactics we can use to elicit information from social media, and also people talk about our professional footballers having their social media accounts managed. Yes, they do at the very top of the game. Obviously, a lot of them do. I think we all know that from the comments that get put on there. But players will still put stuff on themselves. You know, has the player got and I'll say a hidden account, but a historic account that they maybe have moved on from? Is there stuff on there that might kind of give us some information about the player, whether it's risk? You know, there's been high profile stuff. I think last year were a couple of clubs where players, when they were younger, have put comments on that have been subject to investigation by the FA, and then that player has a 4-game ban. Now, you know, we kind of say that if the club had done their due diligence on that particular aspect and had really, you know, drilled down and found that information, then when that comes out, if it does come out, at least you're on the front foot. Then you can say to the FA or whoever's investigating it, so, well, actually, yeah, we did know about that, and what we did, we discussed it with the player. We put, you know, he's been on a learning voyage. He's now a lot older, a lot more mature, and we put him on an educational program. So then, you know, it almost kind of just cuts down on the noise around that and the issues. We look at adverse media and positive media. So we'll go through a social media account and we'll look for significant things that are there. And this is quite time consuming, because it does make me chuckle a little bit when I hear kind of people in football clubs go, oh, yeah, well, I do that. And you say to them, well, how long does it take to do that? And they just say, well, it takes us forever because we haven't got the time. You know, we were at a club last week in the Premier League and talking about exactly this and just saying, well, we haven't got the time to do this kind of work. But we'll look to elicit what we can around the media side of things to kind of give those positive and negative factors that recruitment teams may be interested in.